Hello, everyone. If you've been in the news lately, you would have heard the story about Chris and Olamide, the murder suicide story. Now, if you haven't heard about it, Chris is a 39-year-old man living in Lagos, Nigeria, and Olamide is a 25-year-old lady living in Lagos, Nigeria. They're both in a relationship. They have two children together, a 7-year-old and 3-year one 7-year-old and one 3-year-old, both boys. They don't live together, but Olamide often visits Chris, according to this story online. Olamide often visits Chris with her two children to spend time with them. And apparently, there have been questions about the paternity of the second child. But they were planning their wedding. They were meant to get married in August. But on this particular occasion that happened this past week, apparently Olamide went with her sister to visit Chris, and um, in the course of this visit, Chris kills Olamide and commits suicide himself. So it's a very, very heart wrenching story. More than ever before, I feel like in this season, I don't know whether it's because of social media or it's because of social media we are hearing more of these cases now, or there's now an increase of these types of cases. But it's so important, if you're single out there, you're not in a relationship, it's so important to open your eyes when you're choosing someone to be in a relationship with. Now, I know that it's not everybody that will be saying, oh, I want to get married, or whoever you're going to a relationship with, you want to marry that person. So this video is the target for this video is open-ended. I'm literally appealing, if you're going to get married, if you don't want to get married, you just want to be in a relationship, whatever your desires are, please do not ignore the warning signs. There are always warning signs. These things don't come as a shock. There are ways to know. And a lot of the time, when you hear the stories, you would often hear their friends and their family saying, I told this person, I told that person. It's so heartbreaking when, imagine your loved ones, people that love you, have cautioned you and told you this thing you're doing is going to hurt you. And the reason why they are cautioning you is because when you hurt, they hurt as well. So it's not just you. Look at Olamide now. She's left behind two children. Her sister had to see such a gory sight. What will she say to her parents? How would you explain this to the children? What will become of these children? Their both parents are gone. So a lot of the time, even when people are telling you, oh, this thing, it looks dodgy, listen. Don't ignore when people try to warn. Don't ignore when people try to bring suggestions. Now, I've come to understand, and there's a saying, I can't remember how exactly it goes now, that it's hard to convince a woman who is in love. It's hard to convince a woman. For women, I know that's a big issue. Once we fall in love, it's very hard to then say, oh, come out of this relationship and stuff. Like, literally, that woman needs to be hurt by the man. The majority of the case, from my understanding, of course, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, share your views. From my understanding is that literally that woman, it has to come from that man, except when it's a woman that has a high level of self-control. Why is it that a lot of the times you see smart single women making silly love decisions? And that question stayed with me. I've thought about it a lot. And from thinking about it, I've come to realize, thinking about it, of course, looking at my experience, personal experiences, looking at experiences of people around me, I've come to realize that the reason why a lot of smart women make silly love decisions when it comes to love is because we let our emotions go too quickly. And when our emotions have gone, we don't call it back. There are only some women that have the strength to ignore their emotions and assess the situation rationally and say, no, this is wrong. I'm pulling out. It's hurting me. It's very painful. But for the sake of the future, because I know there's something better for me, I'll pull out of this. Now, this is what I'm urging you women to do. I'm not trying to say this type of abuse happens with just women. That's not what I'm saying. But for what we've seen, that with women it's prevalent, and so for women, I'm saying, please guard your love. If you're watching this video, you've gone ahead to fall in love and you've seen the warning signs, or people around you have told you this thing is not, there's something fishy, there's something dodgy. I'm appealing to you, take a step back and assess that situation. Even if you're in love, even if your emotions, everything has gone, you can pull it back. You will feel heartbroken, but you can recover. You can do better, and you can meet somebody that will treat you well. Let me tell you, a broken relationship is better than a broken life. Because if you're hurt, it won't just be your broken life. It will be the people that love you that are hurting because you're hurting. So please, this is an appeal, literally, that if you are in a relationship, you've seen the signs, please take a step back. If you need to speak to someone, whatever you need to do it. Because you see, the thing is that it's only you. The only life you have is yours. Like, literally, if you lose it, it's gone. There's nothing left. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. And if you're a guy, you're in this situation, same thing. Don't ignore the warning signs. I mean, it was just a few years ago. Some years ago, we did hear same as well in Nigeria. I'm Nigerian, so I tend to keep up with a lot of the news going on in Nigeria, and this one was someone, I actually know the relatives of this particular person that was a victim of domestic violence. And what happened? They had been in a relationship for a while, and in their relationship they keep fighting and things like that. And in this particular case, the woman ended up killing the guy, and they were not married, but they were also planning to get married. So these things happen both ways. If you're in the best way to assess whether you're in the relationship you're in is a good relationship, is a relationship worth pursuing, is asking yourself, do I feel safe? If you cannot confidently answer that question about safety, you should not be in that relationship. No matter what you need to do it, leave that place, look for your safety, stay safe. Please stay safe. Do have a lovely week.